The Shure MV6 is a USB-C dynamic microphone for PC gamers and streamers. What does a microphone for gamers really even mean? Well, you could say it's just a buzzword, but here's my experience. I streamed on Twitch for 4 years, haven't done a couple, but I do stream a lot on Discord and join a lot of Discord calls. And there are some very important features that I and probably most streamers need in a microphone while gaming. And I'll be demonstrating the ones that the MV6 does and does not do in real time using Shure's Motive Mix software. Now, besides the mic needing clear, natural audio, which is obvious, number one, and most important, is excellent background noise rejection. The stronger your PC, the more heat your parts generate, and the louder your fans are going to be. Also, keyboard typing, mouse clicks, controller presses, or just a generally noisy environment from background noise because of other people that you can't control, all of those make this feature a must-have. Next is strong plosive rejection so that the microphone does not distort from P and B sounds up close. Clipping protection to stop distortion when you're getting too loud, when you're excited or mad. Easy to use volume and mute controls. An audio mixer so that you can add a bunch of different audio sources and mix them all together. And I'll put them all to one software like OBS. This one's kind of for me. Even when I was streaming, I didn't really need anything like this because I just do all my mixing in OBS. And some sort of stand in the box and boom arm threading. So is the Shure MV6 a good gaming mic? The short answer is yes. The microphone itself is excellent and so is the software. The three big features Shure mentions are auto level mode, digital popper stopper, and the real-time denoiser, which address a lot of what I mentioned. However, the mic and software does fall a bit short in a couple of key aspects. Let's start with the overall sound first, and then how this mic handles the dilemma of background noise. The MV6 uses a dynamic coil like the MV7 and SM7B. It has a frequency range of 50 Hz to 15 kHz. Not quite the full range of human hearing, which is 20 to 20, but it's close. It also records in 24-bit 48 kHz. Even with the software, some different software suites, if you do the post-processing in there, the output's only going to be 16-bit. The overall tonality is quite similar to the MV7. It's very difficult to tell the difference between the two side by side. I have another video comparing these two directly, just focusing on these. But for the most part, the only difference most people are going to be able to hear is that when up close, the plosive rejection on the MV6 is a lot better, which lets you utilize the proximity effect a lot more without it distorting the microphone. So going from one to the other isn't really an upgrade, it's just a side grade. The MV6 is very crisp. That's the exact feedback I got on Discord. The mids and upper mid range are very pronounced and it can get uncomfortably sibilant. The lower mids and bass are also a tad weak, but all this results in vocals that are extremely clear and they stand out from game audio to maximize clarity. While you don't get full EQ adjustment like in a software like Elgato's Wavelink, if you go ahead and click the gear on the mic in Shure's software, you can go ahead and change the tone. So I can demonstrate this real quick. You can slide it over to darker. I'm just going to make it extreme so that you can hear. This is what that 100% dark. I prefer it a little bit darker, but since you're able to utilize the proximity effect with this microphone a lot more without distortion, I don't really need that. Now, if you want to open it up a bit, you can go bright. You don't need to go this high, obviously, but this is really going to make that treble stand out a whole lot more. And depending on your voice, you might want this. Like if you have an extremely deep voice, being able to make real-time adjustments like this is excellent. I also almost always keep this on the popper stopper, and this is to reduce the plosives as it says right here. If I turn this off, you're probably not going to notice that much of a difference. It really starts to kick in when you're really close to the mic with the P&B sounds. So let me demonstrate. This is with it off. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. Now on. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. A peck of pickled peppers Peter Piper picked. So even with it off, this does so much better than like the MV7 and even the Samson Q2U, but I keep it on just in case. I also set the gain to auto level. I much prefer that. You can set it manually. If you turn it off here, then you can pick the exact dB that you want. But I prefer this a whole lot more, especially when you're actually gaming. Your voice is going to be fluctuating volumes depending on what's going on, or if you're streaming, you don't have to keep on changing it. And this doesn't have traditional clipping protection, but it does make it so that if you're being a little bit too loud, it's probably going to cap it under that 0 dB, so it's not going to be clipping. Overall, fantastic sound. Now, it's not going to be some mind-blowing improvement over some other microphones like the HyperX Quadcast 2 or the Samson Q2U, but the overall fidelity is great and this mic is very versatile. But what about that pesky background noise? Usually, dynamic mics are less sensitive than condensers when regards to off-axis background noise. But it's not magic. Without any software, the Elgato Wave DX and the Samson Q2U actually perform better in this aspect. However, the software implementation in Motive Mix is impressive. So check this out. Now I'm gonna turn off the real-time denoiser, and you can probably hear my PC fans. They're pretty obnoxious. Shure's noise reduction filter is really good at containing low volume ambient sounds. Any sort of fans, PC, console, it cuts all those out while creating very minimal audio artifacts, distorting your voice. Unfortunately, louder intermittent sounds like keyboard presses while typing or gaming, or particularly loud controllers, not this, but like this, my arcade stick, those come through loud and clear. Let me demonstrate. But right now, the keyboard presses, they're not too bad, especially if you're just playing like an FPS game or something. If you were actually like typing, it could be a little bit more obnoxious. But overall, keyboard typing doesn't really overpower like your voice, so it's pretty good. Now, something that's important to note is I'm using this directly on my desk with a stand that it comes with, and that's probably not ideal, especially if you want to get rid of the thumps, because the shock resistance is okay, but it's not amazing on the MV6. So now I have the high pass filter turned on, and I have it on 150 hertz, and that really gets rid of like kind of the thumping that you're going to get if you have it on just the desk stand that it comes with. So yeah, as you can hear, controller presses, if you're on stick, can be pretty obnoxious if you're not used to it. You might have to look into some sort of like a third-party noise reduction filter. I use AMD's sound suppression, but it really doesn't make the audio sound a lot more muffled. Last thing on the real-time denoiser, I do usually keep it on. It is off right now so I can just demonstrate back and forth. But since you cannot control the strength or the parameters of it, the noise gate on it can be a bit jarring. I talked a little bit about the stand, so let me just go over the entire build. The body is made of metal, specifically a zinc alloy. The stand with the yoke gets up to about 6.5 inches. The pole of the stand and the base are also metal, and the whole thing is 1.23 kilograms or about 2.72 pounds. So it's not easily tipped over with a bump. This is one of the best desk stands that I've used. I just wish it had some extension pole in the box to make it even taller. There's a capacitive mute button that turns red when muted and green when active. There's a 3.5mm headphone jack for low latency monitoring or listening to your PC audio, and you can change the volume mix of both in the software. Outside of that, there are not any other controls on the mic itself. The included USB-C to C cable is criminally short at 39 inches. I guess it's perfect for a laptop, but I switched to my own longer cable. There is 5/8 inch threading. I wish there was 3/8 also, so an adapter wouldn't be required for certain mic stands. But most mic stands come with some sort of adapter if they only have 3/8 inch threading. Now, I talked about most of the main features in the software, but if you're a streamer, you might want to use some of the more advanced ones. A lot of streamers might enjoy that you can add different sound sources. So this is the Elgato Wave XLR, and this is what I have for the MV7 that I have plugged into right now. And then if you've had other things that you wanted to have, like maybe your arcade stick or whatever controller you had, because you had a separate microphone for voice chatting or something like that, because I know a streamer that they voice chat with one mic and then they talk in their stream with another mic. Now it's cool that you can add these different mic sources and then mix them together in Shure's app. But that's not really that useful for specific people, yeah. But in Elgato software, you have your mic over here, but then you can add voice chat. So you can mix in the volume of teammates that are talking to you or someone that's on a Discord call. System volume, you can add alerts for a browser. And for all of these, you get to change the EQ. So yeah, it's cool for mixing a few sources, but Elgato software can do a lot more. If you click the gear, you can't actually change anything else. Like you can't change the EQ, at least currently from how you're using it, or how I'm using it. With a Shure USB device specifically, then you do get more controls. And now for my verdict. The Shure MV6 is almost perfect for a streamer or anyone who needs to record their voice while playing games. The detail's amazing, the tonality is great, the software is simple, but it does have everything that most streamers need. The only real nitpicks that I have is I wish the stand was a lot taller, that the USB cable was a lot longer, but most importantly, I wish there was some sort of an alternative denoiser, like maybe an extreme denoiser, so that you can get rid of louder sounds like an arcade stick or something else that's louder, kind of like how RTX voice and AMD sound suppression is. But anyway, I highly recommend this microphone, and it's going to be my new main.